Could you first of all specify what missing means here? What are the different scenarios of children going missing?
You know what? We do not have a very universal definition about missing children, but usually missing children refers to children who left home, who leave home or without or not under the care of their guardians, usually parents, long enough that we can reasonably suppose that children are at risk. Usually means their life is in danger or something bad happened to them.
And the age group, do we have a definition of
the
age limit of 14, 18? Do we know? Do we have a definition?
When we say children, usually means children are under the age of 18. But missing children usually refers to low age of children. Mm-hmm. I mean, low age between 0 to 17.
I see. Now, a China national radio report in 2013 said the number of missing children in China was nearly 200,000 every year. And the rate of missing children who were found was just about 0.1%. Now, this caused controversy because the Chinese public security authorities disputed these numbers. Do we have such statistics now about exactly the scale of the problem in China?
You mean the controversial, I think, is reasonable because they use different kinds of standards to calculate the cases. Like the civil society, usually they calculate every report of missing children. But then for the public security, they usually calculate the case that they admit according to their standards. So that's the controversial results from. So usually the civil society, to them, the number is larger than the number of the public security bureau or ministry.
I see. Do we have any updated numbers from 2013 up to now?
No, I don't think so, because we do not have a very strict or very functional system of the statistics of the missing children. So if there is, then the public security, the number issued by them is the official one and is the newest one.
I see. What are the challenges of finding missing children in China in your eyes?
In China, finding missing children, I think usually the challenges are the same as the challenges in other countries or in other regions. Then, for example, the time for the parents or for the guardians to report the case is one of the factors for the police or for other people to help to find the children. And also in China or in other countries, it's the same. The regional, how to say that, the unbalanced development of different areas, like urban areas and rural areas. If the children are missing in rural areas, I think that the challenge would be bigger than the challenges in urban areas. So this unbalanced development of region is another challenge for people to find missing children.
Sure. Finally, now last week the Ministry of Public Security of China launched an upgraded version of the online missing children information distribution platform known as Reunion. Since the platform was launched last year, it has helped find over 96% of reported missing children. What do you think of the platform and the role of new technologies in finding missing children?
I think the platform is very good because that provides a place for everybody to look for the information, and also the information is issued by the official organizations. So the information is very serious, and also usually it's processed very effectively. So if people to look for information on that platform, the information is very, recent and and new or is real information. Because without that platform before, the information about missing children are passed on by people themselves, you know, from mouth to mouth. So very often when someone look at the information or get the information actually has already passed on for 1 month or even longer. So the information sometimes is already outdated.
Yeah.
So this platform actually helps to provide a very good and real and recent information.
Thank you very much.
And also technology is very good too, because yes.
Yeah, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much, Ms. Tong Xiaojun, Director of the Research Institute of Children and Adolescents at the China Youth University of Political Studies. And I'm now joined by Ms. Wang, Deputy Director of Save the Children China, and Monica Cui, Executive Director of Safe Kids China, the first and only international non-profit organization dedicated to preventing unintentional childhood injury. Welcome to the show, ladies. Now, Monica Cui, first of all, why are there so many missing children every year and everywhere?
I think there are several reasons that so many children were missing around the world, also in China. And the first of all, I think people all think that is that people doing some of the commit a crime for some money or for get some children that they can raise by themselves. I think this is like a social level issues. And the second issues, I think that we should all admit that children, they are all curious, and they are with their natural growings, they're curious to finding anywhere the new. So while they were in the public area, that lead them to go around anywhere that if the parents is not well supervised. So that leads to the most important part is that the lack of the supervision of the parents that make a lot of, this is also one of the issues that make the child missing. And the lack of the supervisions, there are also, I think this is also the issues that China that we're facing. It's not only the urban challenges when we were in a big public area, and also we were facing while in the rural areas, and especially when the young parents will come out to the urban cities for the work, they left the young children at home, so the children were not well supervised and by their grandma and grandparents, or even not well supervised. So I think these are the some of the major issues. So that
basically,
we are facing.
The missing children problem is a side effect, or is one of the side effects of China's economic development and the economic migration that have been taking place in China. Now, given these cases, how should we better prevent and protect missing children? How should the parents be educated?
I think the parents should be well educated, and because now I don't think that the parents, while they were being a parents, and they will not get the first how to well supervise their children. Although from the beginning they think that they can raise the child well, but for the supervision there also need some of the knowledges, and also need some of the skills for them, and their responsibility also is the first that they should think of it, but something that they need to know how to supervise and how to they can help children not be abducted by the people. So, for example, when I look at the curriculum, that the education material for children, and all the words about the strangers, that the parent may educate the child to say, okay, you do not meet the strangers, and if the strangers talking with you, you do not talk with. But actually, some of the data. Yeah, some of the data showed us a lot of children were abducted by the family-related people. So that's what we have to face, that we have to understand, and the children should be well educated in this part too.
Yeah, Ms. Wang, now, just now we were talking about children missing, including runaways and abduction. What are the cases that Save the Children have been dealing with, and what have you observed as to the scale of this problem and the measures that are in place to fight it?
So Save the Children have been working on the area of missing children, child protection, more specifically also in anti-trafficking work for many years. Yes, as you just mentioned before, especially like in China, huge migration as well, what phenomenon, which children are voluntarily or being force moved with their parents. So with this movement actually created extra challenges and risk for children. In recent years, we've been also looking at a more systematic way on how actually the community, family, as well as policymaker countries can create a systematic system, be able to get children to be properly supported and protected while they are on the move.
Now, I know your organization has been working on the cross-border anti-trafficking projects for a long time. What is it mainly for? What's the biggest challenge there?
Since 2004, Save the Children been working on a Sub-Mekong region river anti-trafficking project, which right away from prevention to try to rescue, to provide child-friendly, child-sensitive services for traffic victims during detention, as well as follow-up support, help trafficking victims be able to rebuild and reconstruct their life after they've been rescued, and as well to reintegrate to the community life. In challenge-wise, I think over the years we've been seeing quite positive progress. I think from the national government in terms of issue 2 rounds of national plan of against anti-trafficking to women and children, as well as it's big emphasis in terms of pushing cracking down of criminals. But there's still in terms of how we can have a systematic way to prevent, to equip children and families with skills and knowledge to reduce the vulnerability from the beginning. As well, I think in a way more important to be able to have a comprehensive national protection system to dealing with any of those cases. Either
Thank you very much. We have to leave it there.
Without appropriate care.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wang Le, Deputy Director of Save the Children China, and Monica Cui, Executive Director of Save Kids China.